Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello. Welcome to day number 10 of the Strong, Healthy, and Empowered You Summit. I am wrapped up. It is cold in Italy today. Summer in the Alps is not the kind of summer that you probably think it is where we are. Yes, if you're down south, it is definitely a lot warmer, but today we've woken up with a frost up here, so winter's not too far away. Good morning, guys. Welcome to day number 10 of the She Online Summit. I can't believe we're almost coming to the end. I'm so excited for today's speaker. Susan is actually here. I am really looking forward to this, not to mention the evolution since Susan and I very first met, so I'm really excited to bring her on camera. Let me dive in here. So if you guys are here, let me know you're here. Say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you don't know Susan, let us know. Good morning.
Hi. Hi, Shan. Hi, everyone.
How are you, gorgeous
I'm good. It's very sunny. You can hear me, though?
I can hear you. I can see you. You look stunning as always.
I'm doing a rental car situation today.
Tell me. So you're in Perth at the moment. You are normally based in Melbourne. Yeah. So guys, one of the reasons I've got scarf in my mouth. One of the reasons for the time change today is because obviously Susan's in Australia. So you guys have got two Aussies with you today. So you're in Perth at the moment. You're normally based out of Melbourne, correct?
Yes, I am. And I travel quite a bit. Can you see me okay? Sorry, I know that there's a bit of a reflection. It's so sunny here.
No, it's perfect.
Okay, good.
It's really perfect. Yeah, I can see you.
Awesome. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes. So I'm here. I'm excited. Yes. So to be really honest,
what are you doing in Perth?
Shan, I was. Yeah, so to be really honest, Sunday morning I woke up, it was a couple of days actually before that, and I just felt Melbourne at the moment, it was snowing. It is so cold. And I just woke up and I went, you know what, Melbourne, you are really cold. I need to move. I need to go somewhere. And it's so interesting because when you put something out to the universe, of course, the universe always speaks back. So that particular day, I had quite a few new client inquiries come from Perth, which is on the west side of Australia, for those that don't know, and I had no idea, but all these beautiful synchronicities led me here, and I'm like fully in flow. I've had the best week so far, and it's been really great. Wow. It's been really magical.
Amazing. So I was just inviting a few people on. So you are leading women through conscious business coaching, business mentoring. How did you get to this space? Because I remember when we knew each other back when we had the gym in Australia, guys.
Yes.
That at that particular time, I'm not sure if this was what you were doing or you were dabbling in, because we connected with you a lot around marketing at that time. So can you give us a little bit of a gist as to how you got to where you are?
Yeah, for sure, Shan. So over 12. There's like two turning points, because I was thinking about the question that you asked around like what were the pivotal moments of like creating this change. And I think there was 2 points for me where this was the work that I was meant to do, and I needed to move out of any type of old story, any type of bullshit, to just live my dream and do the work that I'm meant to do here in the world. So the two turning points for me though were when I was 19, I was I had a big kind of incident happen where I was attacked in a road rage situation in Melbourne. And as a result of that road rage attack, I developed almost like a form of post-trauma anxiety, and I didn't know at the time what it was. And I remember being 19, like I had all these dreams to travel and, my whole life ahead of me, and fully debilitated by the open where I couldn't breathe. And I was just like, what has gone on? And obviously it was like the actual road rage incident triggered it. And now what I know now, obviously, is that, we store all types of things in our unconscious, and sometimes, so from having such a full-on experience and then the aftershocks of that, the first inquiry that I had when I went to, a doctor and I was like, I think I'm dying. Well, you've got the option of like antidepressants or, but there's nothing else that we can do for you. You're not dying. You're just having, panic and anxiety. It's very normal. A lot of women have it. And I just remember thinking like, what do you mean? Like, is there nothing else that I can do? Am I going to be with this forever? Like, am I never going to be able to travel? And so that was a pivotal moment of wanting to accept like what was kind of being given around, well, you've got this for the rest of your life. And it started making alternate methods of healing and hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy was the biggest change for me of literally I couldn't breathe to next day kind of after session 1 of like, wow, I've got full control of my life back and mind. So that was what kind of led me into transformational coaching, understanding how the brain works, understanding how we store stuff in our body. And then quite a few years later, I was always kind of interested in studying, but then quite a few years later, I went to my first Anthony Robbins event and I walked on fire with my bare feet on hot coals. And at the end of this experience, I remember just like, I was so scared, but looking at the bottom of my feet, literally like, holy fuck, my feet are not burnt. Like, how did this happen? What did this man do to my brain? Like, and that was at that point, I was just like, I'm going to learn whatever he just did here. I'm going to learn it and I'm going to do this for the rest. And I just wanted people to be free, like free in their bodies, like free from day one. So yeah, to kind of backtrack to you, and we were.
There's a bit of a lag. Do you have anything that I don't know if you're probably on your Wi-Fi on your phone. Is there a way? Is there anything else running off your phone that maybe you could switch off?
Is it that you can't, am I just slow?
Yeah, you're just really slow. You seem to be back now.
Okay.
You just got really.
Do you want to give that a go? I don't know if there were, I don't have anything else kind of going.
No,
do you want to give it another go, or I can always.
That seems better.
Okay, cool.
So you went to the Tony Robbins event, you walked on fire, you looked at your feet, they weren't black, you were like, what the hell is going on? So sorry, then you cut out. What happened next?
Yeah, and at that point, I was just like, I need to understand what this man has done, and I needed to understand how transformational coaching worked. And then I went into and I was like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, and this is what I'm meant to do. And I want to help for me, women specifically, I just want to help every woman feel free. Yeah. So I'm just going to learn whatever it is that I need to learn. And that was the start of my coaching journey.
Amazing. So where are you today? Like, I mean, obviously you're in Perth, but like, where are you? What are you doing?
Yeah. So fast forward, the first 5 years was spent building my business, learning the craft of coaching, learning the craft of mindset, and really how to create change, and then how to empower clients to create change. And at the start of that journey for me, I did everything possible that I could get my hands on. I did courses and workshops. And then for me personally in my business, I trialed everything. So I did the half-day workshops. I did the full-day workshops. I did, I learned marketing. I learned how to run, retreats. I learned what it was like to one-on-one coach. I did everything possible to find my flow in business and really hone my message. However, all of that exploration led me into feeling really frustrated about why isn't anyone just teaching a step-by-step of creating a business that feels like there is no division. It's life. It's like one big life, and I'm not creating a business that isn't conscious and that is really thought out, and not creating a prison for yourself. Because I mean, at the end of the day, as you would know, like there's a reason why we've left traditional employment or traditional life to pursue a life of an entrepreneur. So it's yeah, so I just kept thinking, like, why isn't anybody teaching us step by step? Because I wanted someone, 5 years before that to take me through this process of like, hey, be really conscious of what you're creating and creating, like, yeah, a role, work, all of it, and a life that fits into actually what you want to be doing.
Yeah. So, how did you get to that place now? Because obviously you're teaching this step
Yeah.
by step. You're leading these women who are coming up behind you. Is it called the Freedom Plan? The Freedom Plan?
Yeah, so the initial, yeah, so it started off with Freedom Plan. That's the initial, that's our signature program. And what Freedom Plan is it's about before we leap into setting up a full business model and like, fully pursuing our, whatever it is that we're here to do. It's an exploration around mapping your skills, your love, your joy, the life that you want, how many hours you want to work, what could be possible for you, and then fully putting that into the dream. And that becomes your freedom plan. So it's a really thought out process of, and I obviously guide it around, hey, let's just stop for a minute and let's actually reverse engineer what this dream could look like and feel like. And, and obviously the profit part as well of how we're going to set up this business. So that's the freedom plan.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that's evolved.
Yeah, so after, yeah, I never set out to be a business coach. And I never, like, I remember, like, I was just doing my thing, helping people all over, traveling and, living my life and living what I call now is the freedom plan. And I remember having so many inquiries. It was one day that I think I had like 8 women just write and just connect in and say, hey, can you teach me how you're doing that? Like last week I saw you, in Europe, and this week I saw you here, and I just don't get it. How are you doing that? And I just remember, no, I'm not a business coach. Like I don't want to do, like, no, I don't like spreadsheets. Like I just, it's not my joy. But after so many, people inquired, I was like, hey, there's something in this. And my first group program was literally so honest, like, hey, let's jump on Zoom. We'll do the 8 steps to setting up a business and we'll work on it week by week. And that was literally, everyone was like, yep, great, let's do it. Let's like coach week by week. And that was the initial start of the Freedom Plan. And obviously, we've moved beyond that. We've got, a full membership side, and we've got a whole program that we run 3 times a year. So yes, it has evolved from there, but
wow.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about now I do, so you mentioned that first pivotal point in your life where you were,
Yeah.
you were a part of an incident, a road rage
Yeah.
incident. What was the second pivotal point? You mentioned that there were 2.
Yeah. The moment that I walked on fire with my bare feet and didn't burn my feet, and I moved through some type of like process around, I can't believe that is possible for me. What has happened and unlocked in my brain to have opened me up to the possibility of walking on fire with my bare feet and not actually burning my feet. And at that point, Shanna, I was like, I've got to learn this. I've actually had a physical experience of it. I've got to learn it and I've got to teach it, and I want to be a conduit for this work in the world. And that for me was when I never looked back.
And how does that, translate for the everyday woman who's craving more in her life and in her business? And right now she doesn't see that's possible. Like, how could you, can you break that down for us now in something that she could kind of take away and hold on to, that maybe she could apply in helping her move through the fears that are really keeping her in that place where she doesn't see it's possible. She wants it, but it just doesn't feel like it's possible for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the initial stages of either feeling like, is this it? I want more, whether you're at the start of a business journey or the start of, wanting to explore options around that, or even in a business and perhaps the business isn't going, it's a lot of hard work or it feels like a struggle. I think that at those initial stages, it's really important, or for what I found is that we open up the conversation, because I think that sometimes we're in a silo of like, all right, I'm just going to do this. I'm a hard worker. I'm an A-type personality. That was me. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. It's going to, I'm a hard worker. I'm going to work it out. But I think that you can save yourself so much like, like so much heartache in the business journey when you can actually be fast forwarded to through a process where you can actually say, all right, well, what is it that I want? Am I going to love that? Am I actually going to love being behind a computer? Or how am I going to set this business up so that I can still be free or travel, or, and then how logistically am I getting my, my money flow in, and what feels good to me? And I think that often when we don't know that pathway, the conversation isn't open. So for me, the biggest thing, or the biggest factor that I have, is like, if you can seek out that education and be in a place, like I'm so passionate about, find the tribe or the community that you resonate with. Find a mentor or find a person that has done the exact same thing and ask them, like drill them. Ask them questions. Like before we're joining up for programs or anything like that, like you want to know that they've got you, and that you're also being put in a place where it's a community of like-minded people. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's important because it's like, and then that's what makes someone feel safe to ask questions that they don't know, to gain the answers they need. And then it can, like one link can then propel a whole other, direction, or open up so much for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd love to just like comment on that as well, because like having that tribe and having
Yeah.
those women around you that, they are like-minded, and even as well, don't be afraid to stretch yourself just a little bit, like, and be in a group of people who maybe are 2 to 3 steps ahead of you, because it's very empowering, it's
Yeah.
very inspiring, as much as it might be triggering at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also too, just just knowing that, look, I just feel like you wouldn't have the dreams on your heart, or the little nudges, like, hey, there's like, that wouldn't happen for you unless you were meant to be doing it, or unless you were meant to follow those breadcrumbs. And I think that sometimes we can battle with like the self-belief, the issues of being seen, the vulnerability of like, stepping out to your family when your family might be, like, what are they going to say when I'm online, or whatever else, like all the things that we've had to go through. Yeah. And I think that there's a real rising happening at the moment of like, we can people please, or we can kind of stay silent or whatever, but at the end of the day, you are the only one that is responsible for your leap. You are the only one that can make yourself happy. You are the only one that can progress forward and make the changes around that. So yeah, I'm just really passionate about finding a way that you can get the information you need. So it's like strategy, it is strategic, and it is education. We don't know what we don't know. And I think the other part is also, definitely like following your intuition around what feels right and what is going to work for you. And then coming up with a beautiful master plan where you don't have to be anything other than yourself.
Yeah.
How I am with clients, how I am in the world, how I am sitting here in the car, how I am on group calls or whatever it may be, or coaching clients. Like, this is me, and I never want any division, because that's when life feels hard.
Yeah,
So setting
absolutely.
ourselves up, yeah, to have a life in that way as well as a business, and yeah, that's when I feel like it's just magic. That's when we live magical lives.
And isn't it so true, because as you were saying at the start, like, it shouldn't be a division, it really should be this extension of you, and how you really vision your life and your day and every minute within the day to actually be being lived.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, Shan, like for the people that are watching that are kind of in that place of like, can this really happen? Or maybe they're transitioning, or like they're trying to get to their next, what next goal of whatever that is. I just feel that like if you continue to hold the vision for it, and to continue to be seen and continue to do the work, like it will happen. I remember a time where I used to like being corporate or like in other jobs, like just like, is this ever going to happen for me? Like, I just feel like there's another path for me. And I used to tell people about that, and they thought I was crazy. I used to say to people, I'm going to get paid to travel, I'm going to like, and everyone around me was just like, she's losing her mind. And I think, especially around figures, around what's possible for your money, for your wealth, or whatever your story is, yeah? And I just think I live it every day. Like, every day is a blessing. Every day I'm on calls with women. My clients are like family. I get to go to great places, and I've got the freedom and the abundance, which is important for us to be educated on, because I think any woman that has access to financial power, financial literacy, that can have that regardless of their, their families or whatever their situation is. It's like, if you've got that, you are free to use that for any good in the world. And women that have, a great relationship to abundance and health and wealth, and they're in their juice, like fully living out their dreams, like feeling alive, like that's what changes the world.
Yes.
Not only just our own little families, but it changes the world. So that's what I'm super powerful. Like, I'm just so pumped, and like, yeah, just to teach that over and over and over again. That's all I do.
Can I ask you about that? Like, why do you think that there is, because I actually did a post in the Facebook group about this, and about money. Why is it that you think, or why do you think, or why do you know that money is this topic, is this resistance, is this like, we want this life, but there's like, money is this big block, even though that's the thing that is going to be able to, that's the vehicle that allows us to live that life of freedom, right?
Yes. Yeah. So great. Money is energy.
Mm.
And as fluffy as that sounds, it's like it's an energetic exchange. So where I think we get stuck is that people can only give you their projection of what has been possible for them with their financial situation. And we only know what is around us at the time. So you think like, okay, everyone around you has salaried jobs. They might make a certain cap. They might make their $60,000 a year or 70,000 or whatever it may be. And that's the existence. And then the people around you are giving you their projection of what's possible for them around their money story. When we start to challenge that, and when we can actually go in and go, well, what could be possible for me around this? Like, what is the thinking around, okay, well, I used to make 100,000, in my salary, but this woman is telling me that I could make 100,000, on a launch. Like, what is she talking about? That, I mean, I remember like, enrolling into B school and working out the sums for Marie Forleo. It was like one of my, first courses many years ago. And I was like, the course costs 1,000. Back then it was like $1,200. Now it's like a lot more, but yeah, it was $1,200. And I remember like looking and stalking the people on Facebook that were in the group. I was like, is this possible? Has she made this amount of money? Are these real profiles? Do they have real, and it was because it was challenging what was possible for me around what is she doing? And I
Yeah.
think that it's it's a challenge. So when I, literally like try to bring in the money stuff and try to bring in the breakdown of the what's possible for you, and bring in evidence of like, this can be possible, break down the steps of like, hey, this is how we could do it, this is how many programs we could sell, or you could be on retreat, and doing that, and making this amount of money. It's not from it's from a pure place of energy and like what's possible, because I really
Yeah.
believe that you put good things out to the world, you're going to get great things back, and then we've got way more possibility to create even more change. So does that make sense?
It makes sense. And I love that you mentioned, like, and you've used the word possibility there. I think a lot of people, they live in the realms of predictability. They don't explore what's possible. And, they see all these other people doing it, and they are living in that realm of like, whoa, all of this potentiality. And then even for you to like take a step out of that story, like you were saying, to be able to then lean into something that's maybe a little bit of a stretch that's possible, it's really hard to bridge that for people,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to that financial, like the anchor that money tends to have because of their old story, right?
completely. And all the beliefs that are unconscious that are wired in. So like if you've got, my biggest practical exercise for somebody, if they're coming up against that, it would be, you know, what do I, just like hand on heart, okay, what do I believe about money? That's it. And just start writing. What do I believe? What do I believe about money? And you're literally going to uncover all your beliefs around money, around where you've picked up all this stuff from. And it's crazy. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford this, we can't afford that, or I'm saving, or like all the different stories that we have around what could be possible, that then links to a lot of the time your self-esteem as well, of like,
Yes.
am I deserving? Am I
Yeah.
deserving, like, or whatever other beliefs around it. So it's a continual continual every time we kind of hit the next level or the next level. But I really feel that you do the belief work and the energy work to match it out, and then the strategy. Okay, cool. Once that's done, how can I do this? How many hearts could, I always say, like, how many people can I impact for the exchange of what I'm giving out in the world? And then we map it back to offers that feel really, really good and a
I
freedom
love that
plan. And
reframe.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think that that's one of the things too. Like, some people feel like there's a resistance with, offering a service that's going to change somebody's life and then charging for that. However, that is the energetic exchange of helping them live this life, right?
Completely. And I think that sometimes, like often it's just the saying yes. It's the saying yes to I'm going to be in this energy. So it's like, it's like I'm going to say yes to opening, and like I'm going to trust, or I know every time I've made a big investment in it, I felt sick, like wanted to vomit at whatever the thing was. And it's like, oh, but and then I kind of think, like, yeah, it was the tip, but it was like me backing myself to be able to provide, to be able to pay for the course or be able to pay for the investment. And a lot of that time it's just me backing myself, going, hey, I believe in myself to do this. Shit, let's work out how it's going to happen now. And that's the up level.
That's
And
the
I
up
think that
level.
that is the leap.
Yes.
It's like, because you need to think about, all right, I've just said yes and my whole body's saying yes and I feel like I'm going to vomit, but how am I practically going to pay for this now? What am I going to do? You know how many times I've done that? Like, I really want to go on this trip, or I really want to do that, or whatever it is. And it's like, how am I going to work it out now to do it? And then that's the shift. That's the change.
That's so it. I love it. Thank you. All right. So if there is one thing that you could leave everybody with today, what would that be?
I'd say that a lot of the time when we're in business or we're starting out, or we're trying to transition into something new, there's a bit of fumbling. And by fumbling, I mean there's a lot of kind of time of like, I'm busy, I'm doing this, and a lot of different pulled directions of like where the energy or the focus goes. I think that the best way to be able to continually like give back to you is being so focused with where you spend your energy and your time and your resources. And it's almost like being, I want to say, like being so protective and full of boundaries around where you intentionally spend your hour every day and what you spend it on.
Mm,
And I think that at the end of the day, if you can go to bed saying, hey, it was a good day, I spent I did some really great work, whatever it is that you're working on, and I was intentional with my focus. And yeah, I'd say that that would be one really big part of not of just sticking to what you need for you. You're playing your own game. The
mm,
other thing, especially that's important for mums and for
yeah.
females in general, we get pulled a million different directions. We've got friends, we've got people having crises and whatever, and it's like it's hard to say, hey, I'm in my work thing, I'm working on my thing right now. It's hard, and challenging, and I feel like that's the first thing. But I'm going to sneak in another one. Um, Model. Someone somewhere has done the thing that you're trying to do. Yeah. So rather than reinventing the wheel, it's like seek out the advice, or the advice that you need, or seek out the map of someone that's done it, because that's going to leave you clues into how you could do it. And I think that if we gather enough evidence, like me literally stalking people on, Facebook profiles, like, is this a real thing? Could you really make this amount of money? That stuff leaves clues.
Mm.
And the other thing I'd just say, one last thing, it sometimes, one more thing, we make it so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. I can't work out this landing page, and I need like the glamour shots, and I need like, I don't know how this links to this, and it's like all too hard. And it's like, you know what? Hand on heart, put a post out and just share your truth, and that energy and that vibration will
Yeah.
bring you in, so much, and you can work the other shit out later, and it's like just a pure transmission of make it easy for yourself. Yeah, so I think that we've all got something to teach. Our experience has, and all the stuff we studied, and all of the sometimes the heartache and whatever it is that we've journeyed, is for a reason.
Yes.
If we can share that experience, that's going to help a lot. So yeah. So I get so ranty. I'm like, yeah.
I love
Calm
that.
down
And
now.
I just want to, like, just really quickly too, you know, it is something that trips so many women up, and they get so focused on the landing pages and the
Yeah.
mailing list and the logo and the colors and the this, and it's, you are that, and as long as you just step into who you are and you emit that, as you say, like, that's really that connection that people need, don't they? That
Yeah.
invitation.
Yeah. And we can always work it out. You can always work it out. You can always work out, there's been times that we've had like membership sites down, or, things haven't gone to plan or whatever. Like, we work it out, and people love humanness.
Yes.
There's never been a time, if like my hands were shaking in a speaking gig when I was first starting out, like, people want to cheer you on. No one's ever kind of, like, booed me from the back of the crowd because my hands were shaking, or, people want to help you, and they love vulnerability. So yeah, sometimes tech doesn't work, or things break down, and if you're honest about it, it's just like, hey, like, I'm here in my heart, giving you my service, but people want to help. So I think that sometimes we can get so stuck on like perfectionism of what things look like, and it's just like, you are the message, you are the messenger. And if you hide away and you hide those gifts, like, no one can be impacted. And I just believe we've all got something to share that's valuable. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's a beautiful way to leave everybody. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank
Thank,
you.
thank you so much. It's so lovely to see your face.
Yay!
I will talk to you soon, guys. Thank you so much. That's day number 10 all wrapped up. We'll see you tomorrow for day number 11. Bye,
Thanks
Susan.
so much. Bye.